The 1.2 update is here, and it took me quite some time to understand, figure out how the improvements are, how some things have changed in the game, and just let's talk about all the updates and how I think some of them are really good and some of them are absolutely horrific. So let's talk about the update. First, starting off with the tire model. And I think this tire model is absolutely amazing, but it's also a little bit confusing because the first tire model update, like when the game came out, GT3 cars felt like the GTE cars. And there was this thing about slip angle abuse, which they wanted to get rid of. Then they updated the tire model and it became the most punishing tire in whole sim racing history. Luckily, they listened to this and they made the tire more forgiving, but it was still really punishing. And for me, as for the setups that I've built for the sim and the cars and the driving that I did, I pretty much figured out that at some point you're really limited in all the functions of the game. So you would always use a certain ABS setting, you would always refer back to a certain traction control setting, and also for the setup screen, different suspension settings were pretty much very one-dimensional. Then now this new tire model update came, and although on the surface it looks like this tire model is back at slip angle abuse, but I think it's not that obvious, or it's not that superficial. There's a lot more depth in it. The biggest upgrade I think for this tire model is that we got a lot more flavor in how you set up a car. You can pick different ABS settings, so the ABS 6, and for some cars I also found in slow corners that ABS 3 is really great. The TC settings give a lot more flavor, though you could go to 000 with some cars. But overall, I think this tire model is absolutely a sweet spot, and I hope they will not deviate from this model because it feels great. You can use the oversteer, but then if you're oversteering, then you lose the lap time. So there's not really a case of slip angle abuse, if you ask me. And please let me know in the comments what you think. They might not listen to me, but I do believe they listen to all the comments below these videos. They're reading this, so let's pray they keep this tire model like it is, because I really like this model as well. I like the rain dynamics, the drying track and the wet lines seems okay. The thing is, if then everybody drives offline, the main racing line dries up, which is really a little bit of a disconnect for me. Again, forgive me, I did not drive a whole lot of laps in the rain, but this is something I noticed. It's a great add-on for rain, and it gives a great idea that they're working on the rain model. Then, the BOP of the cars, this is obviously something impossible to predict for them as well. It's going to be fast or quick. The thing I've noticed with the Merc on Le Mans feels completely off to another car, and I think the Ford has become a completely different beast, and it's very, very slow on some tracks. It at some point it looked like it lost the rear wing and it's losing out on a lot of top speed. But then again, I don't want to stick too much to these points because they might change, obviously. Then the next point I want to get into, and now it's gonna get a little bit more ugly, okay? So I'm really positive about this tire model, and I'm really positive on like the direction of the safety badges. I already made a video about this. I was like, maybe I don't really understand these badges. Again, don't want to get into this too much, but I think the badges is again a good pointing them in a good direction with like handling that safety rating and the behavior on track. I think there's this reckless driving and this aggressive driving, but I think it's also because there's so much new people coming into the sim, and it's a little bit of the tax you pay for growing a more popular sim at the moment, which is great. Then the anti-cheat. Also, this is something you see in the community. People talked about the anti-cheat and or like people cheating. It wasn't really a thing, I think. or I did see people use strange inputs and go incredibly fast. I always think it's some sort of a meta or a skill issue from my side, but obviously there are maybe people influencing the game somehow. So the anti-cheat is great, but the anti-cheat is also creating a lot of problems for me personally. And in my community where we race together, we do have a lot of crashes again. The game crashes a lot. I lose force feedback with my Moza wheelbase like 3 times a lap. It's only a very short moment, but it's absolutely painful. I also have a community member who's on a VRS, a wheelbase, and he just loses its complete connection all the time. And then we have something I am really found upon and really like. I think this is very important for all my buddies that also use VR. We cannot use OpenXR Toolkit anymore, which is a damn shame because it wipes out half the VR player base with this update. And I get that anti-cheat is something that needs to be implemented and all growth is painful, I get it, but I mean, for me as well, I get a lot of stability issues now, even though I'm running a 5090 in this race, as you can see as well. Constantly, I had to like drop my resolution a lot and I got more frame drops, and before it was absolutely great. So this anti-cheat, and forgive me if I don't understand it properly, but this is a real constraint now in how I enjoy this game. So I hope that this will be improved, and this is also something I see with this update. When I saw the list of that guy that made the video, and he said like all the updates they're gonna do, the first thing I was like, brace yourself, because this is gonna come with $1 million as well. And now they're gonna patch it up and patch it up. Hopefully most of the issues will be resolved soon. But yeah, some people have asked me if like, where were you? Where are your comments? What do you think about this update? Well, here it is. I'm overall really positive about it, but as for the game stability, that absolutely took a big hit. And especially for people that in my community run into game crashes and wheelbase is not responding, including my own Moza R9 version 2. I just wanted to get it out there because, yeah, I mean, if something really works really well, and then yeah, it's like I also will always look at this old diesel engine, you know, if it's running properly, you don't touch it, you know, you just keep it running and everybody's happy. But obviously the game needs to evolve, needs to improve. So, and if you want to get some better results, here are 25 tips to improve your experience in races and get up that ranking in Le Mans Ultimate for GT3 cars, but also other cars. Thanks for watching.